VTV News. National Assembly discuss crime prevention efforts. And Vietnam's economic growth forecasted to reach 7%. In a world news, Israel and Hezbollah move closer to a ceasefire.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Phie bringing you the latest updates. Now on Tuesday morning, the National Assembly discussed reports on crime prevention, law enforcement, execution of judgments, resolutions of citizens' complaints and denunciations, as well as the operations of the Supreme People's Procuracy and the Supreme People Courts. More to follow.
While appreciating the government's efforts in crime prevention and law enforcement, National Assembly deputies also voiced their concerns about increasing youth crimes.
During my recent inspections to rehab centers, prisons, and detention facilities, it is heartbreaking to witness the rising proportion of juveniles among inmates. I respectfully urge the government to implement synchronized and comprehensive solutions. Strong measures and sanctions are needed to better control the misuse of social media for crimes and legal violations by young people.
Legislators also called for solutions to tackle the rising trend of high-tech crimes.
High-tech crimes continue to increase, employing new methods and tactics. The risk of personal data being leaked or sold occurs daily in cyberspace, causing unpredictable consequences. Voters and citizens are eagerly awaiting the introduction of a personal data protection law.
On the same day, the National Assembly will continue its plenary discussions on these issues.
Vietnam may achieve economic growth of 6.8 to 7% this year, according to the IMF's Vietnam Macroeconomic Advisory and Monitoring Team. Adapted monetary and fiscal policies have helped the economy recover since the middle of the third quarter of last year. Vietnam is one of the fastest growing countries in the world, with the main drivers coming from strong exports to major markets such as the United States, Europe, and China. Foreign direct investment has grown steadily over the quarters. The IMF's monitoring team recommends that in the context of a faster recovery, it is important to closely monitor inflation risks, exchange rate fluctuations, and credit growth. So far this year, Vietnam's wood industry has recorded an export turnover of $13.2 billion, an increase of nearly 21% compared to the same period last year. With its positive results, the industry aims to surpass the mark of $16 billion for the year, far exceeding the target of $14.2 billion set by the authorities.
This factory is rushing to ramp up production during the final months of the year. Efforts have been escalated to meet the high demands for wooden furniture in international markets during the holiday season.
We sell about 250 containers to European and American markets every month. We expect this year's actual growth would surpass the initial targets.
The United States is a key market with over 55% of the wood industry's total export turnover. After a period of slowing demands, it has significantly recovered. Optimism in the industry is due to favorable policies under the newly elected president, which are aimed at fostering economic growth, reducing inflation, and encouraging consumer spending.
There is significant demand for both high-value products as well as affordable and competitively priced goods. Therefore, even small-scale enterprises can find their shelves in the U.S.
If revenue from foreign trade reaches $3 billion USD in the last 2 months of the year, the total export turnover will reach USD 16 billion.
U.S. Department of Commerce recently canceled all investigations into anti-tax evasion, anti-dumping, and countervailing duties on wooden cabinets imported from Vietnam. This decision reaffirms the transparency and fair practices of the Vietnamese wood industry. These recent developments should pave the way for greater access of Vietnamese wood products into the U.S. market and drive significant growth this year.
As of mid-November, Vietnam has exported more than 8 million tons of rice, bringing in more than $5 billion. This is the country's highest turnover in the history of rice exports, according to statistics from the General Department of Customs. Promoting the high-end and fragrant rice segments has helped Vietnam's rice export prices remain high. In addition, the quality of Vietnamese rice is increasingly improving, meeting the standards of demanding markets such as the EU, the US, and Japan, opening up more export opportunities. The forecast predicts a favorable rice exports continuing from now until the end of the year. With just over a month left until the new year, domestic textile and garment companies have ramped up their production to deliver the final orders on schedule. In 2024, among the world's 4 largest textile exporters, Vietnam was the only country to achieve market share growth in key markets. What has driven Vietnam to this success, and what are the prospects for 2025? Join us in the following stories for more answers.
This pineapple fiber bag has become a signature product of Swedish brand IKEA. Many people might not know that it is made from recycled materials in Vietnam. Deals like these allow this company to leverage tariff incentives under free trade agreements and meet green export standards. Additionally, 2024 saw a shift in orders from other leading textile exporting countries to Vietnam.
The company's export revenue increased by 13 to 15% thanks to this shift. For 2025, we foresee a mix of opportunities and challenges, but growing consumer demand should help us achieve over 10% revenue growth. Our primary markets will remain Europe, but we plan to reach Australia and New Zealand as well.
This company is entering its peak production season, with year-end order volumes rising by 10 to 15% beyond production capacity. Workers are racing against time to fulfill orders destined for the US, Europe, and Japan.
We are handling more complex, fashion-oriented orders with tighter delivery timelines. Customers now finalize orders more quickly, so we have focused on strengthening technical teams to build flexible, adaptable production plans.
The positive outlook in Vietnam's textile industry is also attracting increased foreign direct investment. This Hong Kong-based textile group specializing in products for renowned global lingerie brands has chosen Vietnam to establish its largest production facility. Since the second quarter of 2024, the factory has seen positive revenue growth.
This 2024, we hit potentially over double-digit growth. Infrastructures of Vietnam is actually well developed, and there's a lot of talent, around.
Vietnam is one of the preferred destinations for international textile orders. We produce a wide range of products with high added value, from the simplest to the most complex.
Despite ongoing challenges, Vietnam's textile and garment sector, backed by strong efforts and strategic planning, is confident in achieving $44 billion in export turnover this year and setting a target of $47 to $48 billion for 2025.
Now, before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate of today, November the 26th. Coming up next on VTV News. Central Region proactively respond to consequences of floods. And Vietnam awarded World's Top Heritage Destination 2024. Welcome back to VTV News. in the face of prolonged heavy rains causing landslides and localized flooding in the central region. On November the 25th, Prime Minister Phie issued an official dispatch requesting ministries, branches and localities to proactively respond to the consequences of floods in the central region. The Prime Minister requested chairmen of the People's Committees of provinces and cities from Hà Tĩnh to Phú Yên mobilize forces and means to access deeply flooded and isolated areas, promptly supporting the distribution of foodstuffs and necessities. The government leader urged the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment to forecast and inform authorities and citizens to proactively address floods. Localities were tasked with surveying vulnerable areas, issuing early warnings, and evacuating residents as needed. Heavy rains over the past few days have caused landslides on many roads in Nam Trà My District, Quảng Nam Province. The collapsed road from the center of Trà Giôn Commune to the villages of Ông Gieo, Ông Nghĩa, and Ông Xuôi is just one example. This artery has collapsed approximately 20 meters, causing difficulties for hundreds of households. As of Monday afternoon, Nam Trà My District had hundreds of landslides, including 4 major landslides causing local traffic jams. The district is putting up warning signs and deploying guards determined to prohibit people from traveling through dangerous areas. Recent prolonged heavy rains have caused extensive damage to transportation infrastructure and schools in many mountainous districts of Quảng Nam Province. While no casualties have been reported, the damage to public infrastructure has significantly disrupted residents' daily lives and students' education.
Prolonged heavy rains triggered a landslide on a hill in Nam Trà My District, pouring thousands of cubic meters of dirt and rock, blocking hundreds of households. Authorities in Trà Giôn Commune set up barriers and warning signs to alert locals about the dangers.
The landslides have greatly impacted our lives, especially in terms of transporting foods and the ability for children to attend schools.
Local authorities have mobilized resources and equipment to clear debris and restore transportation access for residents.
We're fully aware of the situation. The district will continue to issue measures to ensure the safety of students and teachers.
Mountainous localities in the province are actively implementing disaster recovery plans and preparing for potential heavy rains that could lead to further significant landslides in the coming days.
The central region of Vietnam has recently been hit by heavy rainfall. In Quảng Ngãi Province, rainfall has caused river levels to rise sharply, reaching the highest peak since the beginning of the rainy season. The relentless downpours have severely damaged many roads in mountainous areas. Local communities have deployed urgent measures to ensure traffic safety and minimize casualties and property damage.
The recent heavy rains have caused severe landslides along the Vet River, particularly in the Nghĩa Hèn district of Quảng Ngãi Province. On Provincial Road 624B, a section of inner slope has eroded significantly and is continuing to encroach on the road.
We have blocked off the deep and fast-flowing section of water and collapsed the road, preventing people from crossing.
The prolonged heavy rains have severely damaged inter-district roads leading to the highland communes of 5 districts. In addition to establishing checkpoints, localities are also developing immediate solutions to ensure traffic safety and prevent further landslides.
To address the risk of further landslides, the District People's Committee is coordinating with provincial departments to quickly repair the damaged section and ensure the safety of road users.
Many culverts and riverbanks have also been eroded. Along the Tra Co River in Duc Pho town, the floodwaters have washed away a bank section of over 100 meters. This erosion affects the local traffic, while also threaten the lives of hundreds of households in Pho Minh Ward, Duc Pho town.
The strong inflow of water from upstream has caused erosion. If the water level continues to rise, this area will be further flooded. It affects approximately 90 households and causes significant losses of livestock.
communities are prioritizing repair of the main roads in the mountainous areas, especially national and provincial roads connecting the lowlands to the central region.
Combating illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing has become an urgent priority for local authorities, agencies, and coastal communities. The Guangdong Border Guard Force has implemented a series of coordinated, effective measures to address the problem. More to follow.
In addition to intensifying inspections and cracking down on illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, the Guangdong Border Guard is closely following directives from both the government and provincial authorities aimed at enhancing efforts to prevent overfishing. The Border Guard has also launched a variety of public awareness campaigns to educate local fishermen on regulations and promote voluntary compliance.
We have educated local residents on the importance of combating IUU fishing. Through these efforts, fishermen have been providing us with valuable information to help prevent illegal fishing and violations of regulations.
Through these outreach activities, the awareness and compliance of local fishermen have improved. They have become key allies of law enforcement in the fight against IUU fishing.
If everyone continues to engage in IUU fishing, our children and grandchildren will have nothing left to fish in the future.
We use traditional fishing methods, which are allowed by the state and ensure that the next generation can still benefit from the resources.
Efforts to combat illegal fishing, including overfishing, are part of a broader push to lift the yellow card issued by the European Commission against Vietnam's fishing industry. Alongside other enforcement agencies, the Guangdong Border Guard will continue to strengthen inspections, monitoring, and the enforcement of penalties against violations.
On the distant peaks of the nation's borders, there are soldiers in blue uniforms standing guard. Their mission is to keep a watchful eye on the vast border skies, ensuring peace for our country. They are radar soldiers of the Air Defense Force, tasked with early detections of any hostile aerial threats, providing timely and accurate information to response forces.
Located on a high mountain peak near the northern border, day and night, the radar waves of Station 59 continuously sweep across the border skies. They quickly detect and track all airborne targets from afar.
Mở máy. Rõ. Số điện 001 130 150. Được. Đài KM. Kiểm tra thật giả, điểm dấu không ngoại. Sĩ quan trực ban làm rõ số lượng, kiểm tra tính chất. Tốt 001. Rõ.
This is one of the regular exercises to enhance the combat readiness of the duty crews.
These new generation radars possess superior technical and tactical capabilities. They can detect multiple aerial targets at long ranges and various altitudes and maintain continuous tracking. They are also capable of detecting low-flying and very low-flying targets.
The harsh weather conditions in mountainous areas, including heavy fog and humidity, necessitate daily maintenance to ensure the preciseness of radar systems.
We must regularly clean and use dehumidifiers in the equipment room to ensure optimal operating conditions for the electronic circuits.
As the most remote station of Regiment 291, Radar Station 59 carries the significant responsibility of securing national border airspace.
In times of peace, it is even more crucial to strictly manage all aerial activities, especially military flights. We strive for timely, accurate, and comprehensive operations.
In addition, the radar soldiers also actively engage in civil-military relations to foster strong bonds between the military and local people while safeguarding the nation's borders.
The radar station troops have provided essential supplies to help people recover from the storm as quickly as possible. They have also joined other forces in conducting general environmental cleanup.
Being equipped with modern, domestically produced defense systems, these radar soldiers vigilantly guard the border skies, determined to prevent the nation from being caught off guard in any situation.
Vietnam has been honored for the 5th time as the world's leading heritage destination 2024 by the World Travel Awards. Vietnam has surpassed other contenders in this category, including Armenia, Brazil, Egypt, Greece, Japan, and Saudi Arabia, to win the prestigious awards. Previously, Vietnam has been honored 4 times in 2019, 2020, 2022, and 2023. With destinations including 9 World Natural and Cultural Heritage, 15 Intangible Cultural Heritage, 10 Documentary Heritages, all honored by UNESCO. Vietnam once again affirms the potential and attraction of the country in terms of unique heritage value. Coming up next in our world news, Israel and Hezbollah move closer to a ceasefire. And U.S. to increase taxes on imported goods. Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah are moving toward a landmark ceasefire brokered by the United States. This latest development is considered a major effort to end the long-running conflict along the Israel's northern border, offering a new hope to a region ravaged by decades of conflict. According to several sources, the deal includes a 60-day ceasefire. Of most important, Israeli forces will withdraw from southern Lebanon, while Hezbollah will move north, further from the Israeli border. The deal includes a U.S.-led oversight committee to monitor implementation and address violations. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to meet with his cabinet on Tuesday to formally approve the ceasefire with Hezbollah. U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby expressed optimism over the prospects for a truce. United States President-elect Donald Trump on Monday has pledged to impose a 25% tariff on all goods from Mexico and Canada and an additional 10% tariff on Chinese products. The move is in response to irregular border crossings and drug trafficking. The tariffs on Mexico and Canada will be among the first executive orders signed by Donald Trump on January the 20th next year, when he officially takes office as U.S. president. The above tariffs will be applied until the two countries tighten measures on drug smuggling, especially fentanyl, and illegal border crossings. As for China, the U.S. president-elect said he will add a 10% tariff in addition to additional tariffs on all products from the country. Mexico, Canada, and China have not yet responded to Trump's statement. The EU Commission said on Monday it had formally brought the provisional anti-dumping measures imposed by China on imports of the EU brandy to the World Trade Organization. The Commission said the move reflected the EU's view that China's measures were inconsistent with the WTO rules. Meanwhile, according to China's Ministry of Commerce, the measures to impose tariffs on spirits were legal in order to protect the legitimate rights and interests of domestic industries. The ministry stated that these trade remedies are fully in line with the organization's rules. Each company is expected to pay tax rates from 30.6% to 39%. EU-China trade relations have been strained after the EU last month imposed additional tariffs of up to 35% on electric cars made in China, on top of the existing 10% tariff. American scientists have employed a CT scan to unravel the mysteries surrounding ancient Egyptian mummies. These mummies are the preserved remains of individuals. By using CT scans, scientists at the Chicago Film Museum has been able to uncover detailed information about the mummies without causing any damage. More to follow.
So this just gives us an idea of the
beyond the scary stereotypes. These mummies are real people just like us. CT scans have helped reveal the bodies under the wrappings without damaging them.
CT scans give us a fuller picture of not just the skeletal remains, but also the tissue, the organs, and this can give us better ideas about who they were at age and sex.
The field scientists recently undertook a big project scanning 26 mummified individuals from ancient Egypt.
So, mummies are large, heavy, and fragile, which makes them a nightmare to move around. And the thing that's tricky is what we like to do is move them to a hospital and do the CT scans there. But the problem with that is it's just colossally expensive, and you can only do it out of hours when hospitals are not busy saving lives.
The 3,000-year-old mummy of Lady Chenede had long puzzled archaeologists due to the apparent lack of a suitable opening for her body to be placed inside the mask case. However, a CT scan revealed a small seam at the back of the case, indicating that her body had been positioned upright. The case had been slit from top to bottom and held open while being lowered onto the body before being sewn shut. CT analysis also shed new light on another famous mummy. It revealed that the individual had lived to approximately 45, an advanced age for their time.
And up next is the weather forecast. And that's the end of VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or visit our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.